Welcome 8th grade students. Hope you're enjoying Wednesday, middle of the week. Doing well. Hope you did well on yesterday's quiz where you're trying to find the height of cylinders. Today's assignment is going to be much the same, except we're now going to be trying to find the radius or sometimes the diameter of a cylinder. So it's the same concept, same type of work. As always, you can pause, repeat, skip ahead as needed. Use the closed captioning if you need in English or Spanish, and we'll dive right in. We'll do a few of these problems, but just be aware that today's work is really the same as yesterday. Use a pencil if you'd like. When I draw in a pencil, it doesn't show up as well. I guess I could push down really hard and kind of show up well. I use a pen just to hopefully make it decent for you to see, but use a pencil if you'd like. We're going to start with numbers 4 and 5 on this page and then do a couple on the other pages, and then you'll be off and running for the quiz. You can, again, watch as much as you need, don't watch as much as you don't need. And here we go. Okay, we're still using the volume is pi r squared height. We're using that through all these pages. So the volume is given to us, 1847.26 yards cubed, and that is pi times the, we don't know the radius squared. Can you see what we're going to have to do at the end of the problem here? And then the height, they give us the height as 12. Okay, so all we need to do is get this r by itself. Somewhere at the very end, we're going to have an r equals. Well, the way to get that r equals off is divide by the pi, make that to 1, and divide by the 12, make that to 1. So we're going to divide, as I talked about yesterday, I'm just going to write 12 pi, but you can write pi times 12. It's the same thing. With these going to 1, these going to 1, we're left with r squared. So here in a second, we're going to have to take the square root. R squared equals that number right there. And I have no idea what that is. Some we can do in our head. That one's maybe a little too much. 1847.26 divided by, and I'm using the fraction bar to make sure I get it right, divided by 12 pi. You can do 12 times pi. You can check your answer. You can write those different ways as long as it's an equivalent way. And there we go. Rounded to the nearest tenth is 49. You know your times tables from 4th, 5th, 6th grade, so we're set there. You can just take the square root of both sides. Square root of r squared is r. And the square root of 49, you guys already know, is 7. One of the square roots of that is -7, but we're not talking about the negative square root in this. Okay, and you're done. That's the process. Exactly the same as yesterday, except this squared gives us another step that we have to accomplish. On 5, trying to find the diameter all the way across. So don't be fooled here in just a second. The volume is pi r squared times the height, which makes 1,526.81 equal to pi times the radius squared. Don't be confused by that. Diameter, we'll get to that in a second, is the height, 6. Okay, so we get to get the r by itself eventually down here. We want to have r equals something. The way to undo these items is to divide off the pi and divide off the 6. Do it from both sides of the equation. That goes to 1, that goes to 1. R squared is whatever that number is. 1,526.81. 1,526.81 divided by, and again, like yesterday, using the parentheses to make sure that it's all included in the denominator. Pi times 6, pi 6, 6 pi, whatever way you like writing it. And you can see on this one, 80 point a whole bunch of 9s. You can write, if you want, you can write the 80 times 80 point a whole bunch of 9s. You know what's happening here. You can probably see through 2 or 3 or 4 steps ahead. Because when you take the square root of both of these, the square root of r squared is r, and the square root of that side, I have no idea what that is. 80, the square root, I really do, but just giving you an opportunity to get there. 80.999786. I've really gone too far. This finding the square root of that many, you don't need that much. It's going to give you the same number. 8 point a whole bunch of 9s with a glare in the way to make it hard to read. 8 point a whole bunch of 9s to the nearest 10th. The radius is 9. Okay, we're done. We're not done. We don't want the radius. We want the diameter. So if the radius is 9, if halfway across is 9, then all the way across is 9 and 9, it's 18. The diameter is 2 radiuses, or 2 9s, or 18 if I go through all the steps out. So there's 4 and 5. Take a look at 7. 7 and 9. If you want to hit pause right now, I'm going to write out the equations for these. But go ahead and hit pause and see if you can write the equation correctly for 7 and 9. All right. Having done that, the volume is pi r squared h. So the volume is pi, radius, we don't know it, squared, times the height, which is 12. Did you write that equation? On this one, did you write the equation? The volume is pi r squared h. So 863.94 is pi r squared 11. Did you write that? Then it's just a matter of dividing off 12 pi. Dividing off 12 pi. And on this one, dividing off 11 pi. Dividing off 11 pi. I'm purposely showing you that in multiplication, you can write it in the opposite order. You can commute. It's commutative. You can write them in any order. So on this one, r squared is whatever that ends up being. And on this one, r squared is whatever that ends up being. 12 pi's and 11 pi's. Here we go. The first one up here, 150.8 divided by 12 pi. That is 4. R squared is 4 up there. Down here on this one, 863.94 divided by 11 pi. That's 25. The last step on these is to take the square root. So take the square root of both sides. R becomes 2. And on this one, taking the square root of both sides, R becomes 5. And this one, you're looking for the radius. You're done. The radius is 5. You're done. Well done. On this one, they don't want the radius. They don't care about the radius. All they care about is the diameter. So if the radius is 2, if halfway across is 2, the diameter is 2 radiuses, or 2 times 2, which is 4. The plan was also to do 14 and 15. As I look through these, really it's the same things. You can work these through. I'll just make sure that you've written 1781.28 volume equals pi r squared 7. Make sure you write that down. Volume equals pi r squared h. And then solve for the r. And then on 15, make sure that on this one, to find the diameter, make sure you write down 2060.93 equals pi r squared 7. And then work those through. Divide off the 7 pi from both sides. I'm just doing this because it's fun, and we're not at 10 minutes yet. So r squared is whatever that number is. How fast can you type that in the calculator? 2660.93 divided by 7 pi's. Oh, Raspberry Pi. 121. And you know already from your times tables for multiplication that when you take the square root of both of those, r is 11. And we don't care. We want the diameter. The diameter is 2 r's. Or 2 11s, which is 22. Anyway, I've taken up too much of your time. It's been 9.5 minutes. Hope you're enjoying these. Hope you know that pi r squared h is the volume of the cylinder, and hope you do well on the quiz today. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the day.